Hey guys, so I've been meaning to say this in a video since last week, but last week sometime I hit 500 subscribers, which is just really cool. So I want to say thank you for those who have subscribed. I just never thought I would get to a number as big as that. Like, it's just really hard to wrap my head around. So anyways, today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be the 25 bookish facts about me, and it actually was kind of difficult coming up with all of these facts, but I was able to do it, so let's get into it. I have honestly loved reading ever since I first started reading. I can remember as a child like picking up my first books, and everything about reading a story just always fascinated me. So I can't really say my reading started with a book series because as far as I've been aware of myself, I've loved reading. And I also really loved the Archie comic books. Those were like my favorite books to read as a kid. I've been a part of 3 different library systems. The one I was a part of growing up, when I went to college, and then the one where I am currently living. I think my ultimate OTP is Will and Tessa. I'm not entirely sure if they are. Like, if I think about it too long, I may change my mind, but there's just something about that coupling that is just so perfect and angsty. Recently, as in this summer, I've gotten into the mystery and thriller type books more so than I ever have in my life, and they're honestly the books that I'm just gravitating towards lately, and I kind of have to blame my friends for that, but I'm just really loving this whole new genre. All my life I've wanted to be a part of a book club, and at this point I can say that I actually am, which is just really exciting. The first time I read Harry Potter was in the 10th grade. All of the books had come out at that point, and I loved them like from page 1 pretty much. I've never been to BEA, but it is a dream of mine. The book I've had on my bookshelf the longest is probably the November 11th book by Stephen King, and if you've seen it, it's just really intimidating. I've had it on my bookshelf since the book came out years and years ago, and I still don't even have plans to read it in the near future. Ironically, the book longest on my Goodreads TBR is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I read the first book in the Percy Jackson series, and I didn't really get into it. I was a huge twihard in high school. I mean, I completely obsessed and sold out for everything about Twilight. I'm not even gonna be ashamed of it looking back on it, because I was really happy in my love for Twilight at that point. I don't dog-ear pages or write notes in them unless the book is just atrociously horrible. Used bookstores are my jam. So I previously had a booktube account about 6 years ago. I was just getting into college, I think, at that point, and I deleted it because I was way too embarrassed of the content that I posted. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever get sick of contemporary, so they're like just a solid go-to for me, but fantasy is probably my favorite genre of all. In high school, I did this huge project on A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, and that book, tied with To Kill a Mockingbird, are my favorite books I've read in high school. My favorite Harry Potter book is Goblet of Fire. I don't normally listen to music when I read books, but lately I've been listening to the Harry Potter soundtracks and the Lord of the Rings soundtracks when I've been reading, like especially my fantasy books, and it just makes the reading experience absolutely incredible. I love it. It's perfect. Going back to that twihard fact that I mentioned, I did make playlists about angsty parts in Twilight, and I would put them on when I got to those certain parts in Twilight, so I had music that went along with Twilight. I've written Harry Potter and Twilight fan fiction, but I've deleted all of those accounts, and I've deleted all of my writing, so there is no way to ever trace those again. My favorite classic is probably Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. People assume that because I love to read so much that I one day want to write a book, but honestly, I have no desire to write a book ever in my life. I've never set a reading goal for myself, and I probably never will because I just don't really believe in them. So I love reading books at night, but then there's also something about reading a book right in the morning when I get my coffee and the house is quiet, and it's just so peaceful. I just love reading books in the morning as well. I own 121 books. Now, all books may not be accounted for. Most of those books are fiction, but there's a few like non-fiction books that I've included in there as well. But I think that's a pretty solid number. I don't really care about owning books because I do the library so much that I just like don't really have a need to buy the books, especially because I've also run out of bookshelf space, so I don't know where I'd even put them. The last bookish fact about me is that my ultimate dream is to one day own a new and used bookstore, just like Kathleen Kelly and You've Got Mail, except I would have it a combo like bake shop slash coffee shop, and it would just be adorable and cute, and that's just like my life dream. Thank you 500 subscribers. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.